Okay, this is page 7 of your Unit 9 review. So we're going to go and solve these. That's all we're doing, solving. If there's any for real solutions, if there's not real solutions, we don't have them. This is much like this one we just did previously. Okay, so you can solve for either. I'm going to get y by itself here by switching those. So I'll get 2x minus 1 is equal to y. Then I can take this information here, that's y, there's y. So I can plug that in for it. Okay, and so that gives me 4x squared plus 2x minus 1 squared equals 13. 4x squared plus 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 is equal to 13. So getting everything on the same side, I get 8x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Everything's divisible by 4. So I divide everything by 4. And that is factorable. 2 times negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Factors of negative 6 give me negative 3 and positive 2. So I need these together like that, and I need positive 2, negative 3. This way my outside is positive 2x, my inside is negative 3x, which adds together to negative x. So 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, x plus 1 is equal to 0, and so I get x is equal to 3 halves, x is equal to negative 1. Okay, again, we learned from our last one that that's a circle, or that's not a circle, but it's an ellipse, okay, with a longer, well, longer b squared. B squared is larger than a squared. Looks like that. That's a linear line, so there's going to be 2 solutions. Okay, if there's 2 solutions, that's all we need to plug in for. So we're going to go and plug into this equation here with x and y. So let's do that. If x is equal to 3 halves, that's 2 times 3 halves minus y is equal to 1, or 3 minus y is equal to 1, or 2 is equal to y. Or if x is equal to negative 1, 2 times negative 1 minus y is equal to 1. Negative 2 minus y is equal to 1. Or what do we get? We get y is equal to negative 3. Okay, so what are my solutions? Solutions are 3 halves 2 and negative 1, negative 3. Those are my solutions. Okay, 20. Easy enough substitution. X squared is equal to y. There's x squared, so let's plug that in. So I'll get y plus y squared is equal to 30. Get everything on the same side. Factor positive 6, negative 5 is equal to 0. Y plus 6 is 0. Y minus 5 is 0. So y is equal to negative 6, or y is equal to 5. Alright, so I've now solved for y. I've got a circle and a quadratic. Okay, and that's x squared. It opens up. So there's a possibility of 3 solutions, but since I solved for, so we need to check that and make sure that works out okay. There's a possibility of 3 solutions. Okay, there's 2 different ways I can do that. First off, if y is equal to negative 6, you can do it here. Negative 6 is equal to x squared. Okay, remember y is equal to negative 6. Okay, well that's going to give me imaginary. Okay, so that's not real. So we'll throw those out. Okay, so we don't need x. We don't need y is equal to negative 6. Okay. Right now, if I do the other, if I say y is equal to 5, okay, if y is equal to 5, I get 5 is equal to x squared, so I get positive negative square root of 5 is equal to x. Okay, so that's real. Not rational, but real, but that's okay. So those go together. So my answers are y positive negative square root of 5. Okay, and that is 2 answers. Okay, 2 solutions, so that works out okay for us. Was it more than 3? 3 would be the most we could get. All right, so 19 and 20. Let's go 21 and 22. Oh, well, this is set up nice and easy for us. Those will eliminate if I add them together, so let's do that. Makes our life a little bit easier. So I'll get 2x squared is equal to 18. X squared is equal to 9. X is equal to positive negative 3. So let's go. X is equal to 3. What do I get? I get 3 squared plus y squared is equal to 13. Y squared is equal to 9, or equal to 4. All right, y squared is equal to 4. And so y is equal to positive negative 2. Remember, this is 9. 13 minus 9 is equal to 4. Right, and if you haven't noticed, if I plug in x is equal to negative 3, the same thing happens because it's the same equation, because negative 3 squared is the same thing as 3 squared. So I end up with y is equal to positive negative 2. So I have 4 answers: 3, 2, 3, negative 2, negative 3, 2, negative 3, negative 2. And there are other ways you could write those answers out. You just need to make sure that the x and y's are matched. They're okay. All right, and let's look at 22. Okay, 22. If I subtract, the x squareds will eliminate. So let's do that. I'll subtract. Okay, and so I'll get negative 10y squared is equal to negative 160. And I get y squared is equal to 16, or y is equal to positive negative 4. And so let's go and let's look at this when y is equal to positive negative 4. Okay, so I'll get x squared minus 4 squared is equal to 9 versus x squared minus negative 4 squared is equal to 9. That's when y is equal to 4. That's when y is equal to negative 4. Okay, so that's 16 minus 16, so you add 16, so you get x squared is equal to 25, or x is equal to positive negative 5. Same thing will happen here, because that's 16, so it makes it minus 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. X squared equals 25, so x is equal to negative 5, positive negative 5. So again, we have 4 answers. Those 4 answers being 4, 5, 4, negative 5, negative 4, 5, negative 4, negative 5. Okay, and those are your 4 answers, and we've solved that system of quadratics. It's 21 and 22. Okay, now moving on to stuff from 8.6. Find a cubic equation with integral coefficients that has given numbers as roots. Complex conjugate root theorem says if I is a root, negative I is a root. So I have x minus 2, x minus I, x plus I equals 0. So I'm going to FOIL this stuff here first. So that's x squared minus I squared equals 0. X minus 2 times x squared plus 1. I squared is negative 1. Negative I squared is positive 1. So, and I get x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. There's your answer. Okay. 24, same concept. Complex conjugate root theorem says if 1 minus I is a root, 1 plus I is a root. So I have x plus 1, x minus 1 plus I, and x minus 1 minus I. Okay, again, those are conjugates. Conjugates multiply a certain way. They multiply like that. Okay, and I still have the x plus 1. Okay, with the x plus 1, this stuff follows our special pattern that we've covered, I think, twice already in this packet. Negative I squared is positive 1. So you get x squared, x plus 1 times x squared minus 2x plus 2. These are all equal 0, by the way. Don't forget that. Remember, it asks for an equation. Can't have an equation without it equals. So I'll get x cubed. I get minus 2x squared plus 2x plus x squared minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. And combine like terms. X squared, or x is canceled, plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, there is your cubic with the given roots. Okay, that is page 7. Moving on to page 8 on the next video.